I, 30 female, and my husband got married when we were 25 after 6 years of dating. He passed away in an accident 3 months ago. A few weeks before the accident, I discovered he had a one-night stand with a woman he works with. When he died, I hadn't decided yet what would happen in our relationship. We entered counselling and were still living together, but obviously it was hectic. As I wasn't sure if we would divorce, I decided not to tell our families and only confided in a few close friends and my therapist. I didn't want opinions from everyone. I also didn't tell his family when he died. There was no reason to. A few weeks ago, the affair partner reached out to me. She's 5 months pregnant and preparing to raise the baby. She wanted me to tell his family because she wants her child to have a relationship with his family and be connected to his culture. I said I wouldn't do this and passed along their contact information. The crap hit the fan. Now they're coming around to the idea of having a relationship with the baby, but I don't want to, nor has the mother offered, which is fine. The mother has gotten back in touch with me to ask for some of my husband's possessions. She wants his clothes, books, record collection, and bizarrely his wedding ring, for the baby to feel connected to its father. I've made it very clear to her that I will be giving her nothing of the sort. Her parents and brother have some of his stuff, and she can access things like that through them. She kept pushing, and I lost my temper and called her an outrageous witch who should find some shame. I wouldn't be opposed to passing some of the stuff along to the child via my in-laws when they're older and can appreciate it. Not the wedding ring, which was the worst request in my opinion, but other sentimental stuff. I've also retained a lawyer to look into whether I owe the child any money legally from my husband's passing. If I don't, I may set up a trust fund for them when they're an adult with his money, because I don't really need it, and that seems fair. I just don't want to give this woman all that I have left of my husband. I really don't trust her with any of it. Obviously, she thinks I'm a bitter, raging monster witch and an idiot, and my in-laws are divided. My in-laws are largely supportive, but some think I must give some of his stuff to her and the baby. Some of his brothers have told me they're sympathetic, but I'm behaving like an idiot and a baby by not cooperating for the child's sake. I'm unsure whether the complicated grief is clouding my judgment. Edit, my in-laws are getting a paternity test when the baby is born. This was the first thing they asked. However, the scans and due date line up perfectly when the affair occurred, so I think it's likely true, so we are preparing for this. Not the idiot. If she wants to get the possessions of her partner after they die, she should consider getting married instead of being the other woman. There's nothing bitter about what you're doing. She just doesn't know how life or the law works. It's not your job to have a relationship with the child, and I also don't understand why you need to set up a trust fund for the baby. You're willing to do more than you need to. Also, what exactly does your husband have that a baby would even want? Goodness gracious, clutch my pearls. His wedding ring? $5 and my left toe says that's so she can spin the tale that they were married and he isn't an affair baby. She wants the dead guy's stuff so she can tell her kid, oh, your father and I were very happy and this bitter woman got in the way of our relationship. Homewrecker is up to something, that's for sure. Those are my thoughts too. I wouldn't be surprised if she takes some of the pictures OP has with her husband and photoshops her head and then starts demanding the grandparents use those pictures instead. If she's demanding his wedding ring, I have no doubt she would do something like that. I mean, she has zero shame in her game contacting the wife looking for sympathy, you know? My thinking is that it wasn't a one-night stand. Yeah, I'm wondering if he knew about this child all along. I think the mistress wants to spin that tale for herself. He would have left her and married me if he'd lived, so I'm his real wife delusion. OP, your deceased husband's side piece wants you to give her your husband's stuff? Oh heck no, you are not obligated to give her a damn thing, nor do you have any monetary obligations towards her or the baby, since she was the side piece and not his wife. Block her, get a lawyer. Sorry for your loss and for all the extra drama that's come with it. My 38 female fiancé Jake, 46 male, moved in with me 6 months ago. Then 2 months later his daughter Carrie moved in with us. Carrie is lazy. She doesn't do chores, cleaning, cooking, or even laundry. She leaves a mess everywhere she goes, doesn't listen when I ask her to help, rolls her eyes, and continuously mocks me. Jake says she's a kid, give her time, she'll get better, and to ease up on her because it's not a big deal. Recently, in the past 3 or 4 weeks, Carrie has been tossing her dishes into the sink, usually from halfway between the dining table and sink, which is several feet. The problem is that all my dishes are either ceramic or glass, which means they're getting shattered when they land. I'm at the point of using paper plates, cups and bowls because I don't have enough dishes anymore. I've told and snapped at Carrie to stop many times, but she does it anyway, giggles, says, "Oops, sorry, guess I forgot," and practically skips out of the kitchen. I told Jake that Carrie could find a way to pay for the dishes she's broken or go live with her mom or grandparents. I'm done being disrespected in my home. Jake says I'm being a total witch towards his child. She has no job, it's unfair to kick Carrie out, and if I do, he will never forgive me for being so cruel as to make Carrie feel this isn't her home too. Am I the idiot? Edit to add, Carrie is 21. She moved here to go to college but decided not to go, and Jake offered to move her to my house. I initially said yes because he always talked about how great she was and she seemed okay the few times I'd met her. Honey, kick them both out. She's awful and he's as bad since he won't see it. They can live together and you will be much better off. You have to rethink your relationship with your boyfriend. Even Brad Pitt wouldn't be worth this crap. So you plan to marry a man who didn't teach any respect for others in his child, is okay with you being treated like crap, and is now making you the villain. The first time was an oops, every other broken plate was an intentional act. She has to go, and he should probably be right behind her. Exactly, this 21-year-old adult is not just a kid. Decides not to go to college, doesn't have a job, is disrespectful as heck to the owner of the home, and somehow, in her 21 years on this planet, she didn't learn that you don't throw dishes. OP, your primary concern is your fiancé's unwillingness to do anything about her behavior. Since they moved in with you, it's your home. They should respect that. You have a huge fiancé problem and should not marry him until the problems with his daughter are resolved. You have a mess on your hands. I'm 20 female and my brother is 28 male and my now sister-in-law is 30 female. About 6 months ago I stuck to a weight loss regime and it worked. I was 135 pounds and 5'1". Now I'm 105 pounds. 6 or 7 months ago my brother told me that his now wife, with whom I was kind of friends, wanted me there as a bridesmaid. I've gone to Starbucks with her a few times and gotten our nails done together. I got busy with school and focusing on weight loss. I didn't see them for a long time. Yes, of course there were breaks, but I wanted to rest in my apartment because I was burnt out from school. I appreciate their understanding I have school and can't make it when they're picking bridesmaids' dresses or other things. The college I go to is across the country. We live on the East Coast. So when I saw them again, 30 pounds lighter, my now sister-in-law said, "Why did you lose weight?" And I replied saying, "Because I felt I wasn't healthy, but now I feel my best." She frowned and didn't say anything. I chalked it up to her being a bit nervous about her wedding. She had already sent me the dress photos and needed me to come for measurements, but I couldn't because it wasn't within my budget. Flight tickets are expensive. So they got me a FaceTime with the person who measured and made the dresses based on that and helped me measure over call. Recently, my brother approached me and asked if I could put on a few pounds and explained his now wife is jealous of how I look thinner than her. I asked to speak to her about this matter. She agreed to talk, and I told her that her big day should not be ruined by how big or small someone is. We should love how we are. She got angry and told me it wasn't hard to gain a few pounds in the next 3 weeks. I told her calmly I won't be attending if she thinks like this. She started to lose her temper and started to insult me, saying that I used to be a fat cow and other things of that sort. So I finally just said, "I'm not coming to your wedding, you fat witch." My brother and our parents are calling me out and saying I messed up. Was I the idiot? Not the idiot. Telling someone to gain weight for their own vanity is one of the most narcissistic things I've ever read. I would have called her worse names. And you didn't mess up. Not to me. It sounds like you just avoided an expensive airline ticket. People like her don't deserve a place in your life. Make her apologize for her comment and her demand. This is borderline, but not the idiot. Your reaction was not genteel, but it's understandable after they got angry, insulted you, and then actually asked you to gain weight for the wedding. You had weight issues prior, and your height and weight are now in a normal range. Did they want you to have an eating disorder? Good luck to your brother in getting married to this person. How is it borderline? Get off your high horse. People matching energy and defending themselves isn't being an idiot, though, in general. There has been this terrible phase where people started preaching, "Don't get down to their level, no exceptions, and if you lose your temper ever, it makes you a garbage person and you lose all moral high ground." Basically, let them scream and insult you, take the disrespect and humiliation, and keep calmly treating them as if they were a rational person capable of conflict resolution. It's just ignore the bully dressed up for adults, and guess what? It doesn't work any better at 20 plus than it did during school. Yep, you were nice and understanding the entire conversation, but you have a limit. She called you a cow and implied she wanted you in the wedding to make herself look good. Book yourself an amazing holiday while they have the wedding. If anyone asks why you didn't attend, tell them the truth, that sister-in-law is horribly insecure. Your future sister-in-law needs to work on her insecurities instead of making ridiculous demands. I had a birthday a few months ago and I told my girlfriend to not get me anything. I didn't want or need anything. This wasn't a secret challenge to find something I would like. I genuinely didn't want any gifts. Of course, she gets me some gifts, and I hate them. She gave me junk and a responsibility, 2 things I don't want more of in my life. She got me this crappy little plastic egg cooker thing. She knows I make hard-boiled eggs in the pressure cooker, and I've expressed before that they come out perfect every time and that I love it, so I don't need some piece of junk as seen on TV replacement. She also got me a small cactus, which I see as nothing more than a responsibility I don't want. I know cacti are pretty low maintenance, but I just don't care for them, and I have nowhere to put it, and I have a cat who likes to rub on things and push them over. It was a mess waiting to happen, which caused anxiety in me, and the only place to put it was in this one window in my tiny apartment when the curtain was always drawn, so it's not like I ever see the damn thing. So I threw it all away. After a few months, these things sit unused and unenjoyed, just being useless clutter and wastes of money. And now she's mad and has been very distant lately. She said that it was the thought that counted, but I told her that it didn't seem like any thought was put into these gifts. I realise I'm hard to shop for, so I expressly don't want anyone getting anything for me. I am very picky. You are the idiot. It's the thought that counts. Your whole attitude about this is so cold. She tried to find things that applied to your life. Yes, she missed, but you don't even appreciate the time she spent thinking about you. Some people express their love with gifts. She wanted you to know she thought of you. With the cactus, you could have sat her down and told her you appreciated the gesture, explained the cat issue, and asked if she'd keep it for you at her place or if she'd be okay if you passed it to a friend, etc. OP could have even re-gifted them versus throwing them out. Explained he gave them to someone who would appreciate it. It would probably still hurt, but better than him just tossing the stuff in the trash. Instead, throwing them away, along with the wording used here, gives me the impression that there was anger in the disposal of these gifts. It wasn't. She tried, but these aren't right for me. Someone else would appreciate them more. This is garbage. How dare she buy me garbage? I'm putting it where it belongs. I wouldn't buy him one single thing ever again. I'm sure a comparison between OP and the cactus could be made. LOL. Yeah, too bad he threw away his spirit plant. Chill, dude, she just wanted to make you a bit happier. You could have later told her gently after accepting the gifts that you appreciated it, but she really didn't have to. Or you could have helped her out by sending her a wish list prior to your birthday. You are not only a hard person to shop for, you generally seem hard to be around. Honestly, not the idiot. You told her you didn't want a gift and she still got you one. Obviously, this is an issue for you and your girlfriend should know you well enough to know that when you say you don't want anything, you mean it. It seems she wants to make herself feel good about getting you something while ignoring that it doesn't make you feel good. And what's the point of a gift if it makes the other person feel bad? A nice gesture is only nice if the receiver appreciates it. Today, my tween son spent the entire day with his best friend Aaron. I asked my son if he wanted to buzz his hair before his dad picked him up and I could do it while he and Aaron played video games. When I was done with my son, I asked Aaron if he wanted to even out his bob. His hair was like Kurt Cobain's. He said no because he would get it short like my son's. I said I could do that instead. He said okay. I even let him put in some colour. I dropped him off a couple of hours later. Well, his parents called me like they were excited. They asked why I cut Aaron's hair. I said, I know, right? You can now see his eyes. They said no, I had no business cutting his hair. I said I was surprised because Aaron is way old enough to groom his hair. They said I should have asked. I said it's hard to have a talk with people who think tween boys should get permission to style their hair. Am I the idiot for giving my son's friend a haircut? Seriously, you didn't even stop to think. You should dish out some tattoos next, though. You are an idiot. You don't take liberties with someone else's kid like that. That's common sense. You're not the kid's parent. You can't make decisions for him. And as a tween, he can't make those decisions without an okay from his parents. Any adult knows that. But OP didn't want the parents to know. The whole comment about, "You can now see his eyes," is what tipped me off. OP didn't like the kid's long hair. She cut the hair while the kid was playing video games. Why cut their hair during this time? Because they're engrossed in the game. Easy, yes, they're distracted. It was a major style change, not a quick trim. Please, she didn't style it. She buzzed it off and put colour in it. OP just trashed her son's relationship with their best friend. I doubt Aaron will be allowed over to OP's home again. Poor kids. Your own son didn't groom his own hair. You did it for him. And totally irresponsible to put colour in a kid's hair. You have no idea if he'd be allergic. It's well known that a spot test should be done before colouring hair to ensure no allergic reactions. That was so dumb. How dare you? That's horrendously entitled behaviour on your part.